So we've all been living with the knowledge of this vision for, well, at least a couple of minutes, probably a couple of weeks, maybe longer, depending on your level of interaction or involvement. So what's next? What does this mean? What does this mean for us as a congregation? What does it mean for us internally? What does it mean for our external engagement with the community? And what does it mean for each one of us as individuals? So, for us internally, when we were doing the community research and trying to understand the needs of our community, we were also trying to assess how equipped Chestnut Grove was to respond to those needs. And newsflash, key observation, our congregation is not immune from the challenges facing our community. We too are overscheduled and overwhelmed with a very long list of activities and programs. Maybe some of you have heard of the metaphor of the duck, which has sort of become our unofficial session mascot, maybe? I don't know. From above, effortlessly gliding across the water in peace. From below, furiously paddling to keep itself afloat. Again, our list of activities and programs is long, and we are paddling furiously, so how do we slow down to give ourselves the ability to focus on becoming more like the top half of the duck to meet our community's needs? So as we work toward full implementation, we will need to make some difficult decisions to appropriately focus our energy to have the impact that we desire. We're going to need to streamline our programs and structure, and also evaluate all of our current ministries and activities in light of the vision. I also want to acknowledge that this may require some difficult decisions as far as what things we might need to divert our attention and energy away from so that we can focus our impact. The good news is that we've already started taking steps to do this. As any natural decision has come up over the last couple of months, we've been actively trying to simplify things. We have streamlined the membership process to make it a whole lot easier to become a member for anybody who is interested. And we have restructured the administrative role previously held by Gail Shank to be more of a strategic role that can directly support programs and initiatives in light of the new vision. So we are already doing what we can and making some progress. For the community engagement, the goal here is not to get everybody to power up and work harder, but to start doing things differently. In the past, we've worked very hard, and at times we've worked hard with the end goal being to grow the church in order to reach new people, to share God's news. And I think that an important distinction is that this vision is not a growth initiative, but rather is a gift or a blessing on our community. And we're going to need to change the way that we think about our community outreach to meet that goal and think differently, not just work harder. The next step one of the next steps is going to be to build on our strengths and our existing passions so that we can build on what's already in existence. There are real needs in our community. Just a couple of groups up here that we either already have some connection with or would like to have additional connection with. We have growing partnerships with the CDC, the Scouts, and others. And later on, we're going to ask you all to help us to understand where you're already serving, where you're already passionate enough to be serving outside of our local missions in our community, so that we can understand where, again, we can build on existing strengths. And for all of us as individuals, the most important thing we can do is to reflect on everything we now know and determine what it is that you are most excited about to play a part in the new vision. What ministry are you most excited about either preserving or potentially adjusting to meet the new vision? And something else that we can all do is continue to emphasize relationships. We've heard Andy speak the last couple of Sundays on the importance of building relationships. One of the other themes that came up when we were realizing just how busy our congregation is with the management of the church was just how many of us come to church looking for community and instead find committee. And not to suggest that our committees aren't very gratifying and fulfilling, But what if we were able to streamline things to the point where we could spend the majority of our time building our community, strengthening our relationships, and just a small amount of time on programs to manage the church versus the other way around? So I know I've given you a lot to think about, or we all have, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Andy, who's going to give us an opportunity to discuss at our table.
So now's the time where you get to share some of those previous ideas that you've written down in reflection and sort of pull them together with this new information of sort of what it means. And as you can see, we don't necessarily have a 27-point strategic plan, but we do have some ideas about what we think the next steps will be. And so we want your discussion to be at the table, to be focused around these three questions. What possibilities around this vision excite you? What concerns would you like to talk more about? And then, how might you adapt your own ministry or your own involvement at Chestnut Grove to align with this vision?